Hey now, I'm Chris and this is That New England Sound. I'm here today with the DBX Model 128, manufactured in Waltham, Massachusetts from 1979 to 1981. This is a dynamic range enhancer and noise reducer. The whole theory behind a dynamic enhancer is that it makes your quiet parts quieter and your loud parts louder. Lots of people online give these things the thumbs down. I mean, you're adding another device into your signal chain and that creates more chances for high infidelity. Lots of people who actually used it said they didn't like the sonic changes that happened. Others felt like they didn't hear a difference at all. Some felt like there was a difference, but it was so subtle that it definitely wasn't worth the money. Our old pal George Flores says if the dynamic enhancer expanders are legit, then why did they disappear by the mid-80s? I have now spent a week with the DBX Model 128 and boy oh boy do I have feelings about it. Does this dynamic enhancer enhance my system? Before we get to that, let's talk about the company that made it. DBX was founded by David Blackmer in 1971. At 44 years old, he'd already had a pretty busy career. After serving in the Navy, he went to school at MIT and Harvard before working as an electrical engineer at various Boston-based companies, before going to Raytheon in the 50s. At Raytheon, he worked on telemetry circuits that could withstand massive interference as they sent signals far distances. This was crucial for NASA's Mercury space program. In 1971, Blackmer had a new mission: to make recorded music sound as true to the source as possible. He founded DBX to do so. Their first product was the DBX 202, a voltage control amplifier. Utilized in recording studios for mixing boards and compressors, the Black Can, as it was often referred to, had much bigger dynamics and way less total harmonic distortion than anything else on the market. Eventually, Blackmer started making compressors of his own. The DBX 160, it's still a very sought-after piece of gear. Following the professional components, DBX started making equipment to improve home hi-fi listening. In order to make a recording fit on magnetic tape, some dynamics needed to be sacrificed. The DBX enhancers were supposed to restore those empty silences and blasting crescendos. DBX also started making noise reduction systems, which could enable much better sounding tapes. For a hot second, DBX almost gave Dolby a run for its money. In 1979, Blackmer sold DBX to Birmingham Sound reproducers. Through the 80s, they started expanding into more hi-fi equipment, and they made amplifiers and speakers. 10 years later, BSR sold the company. It bounced around between a few different corporations. The professional division was spun off to another company, and that company got bought by Harman International. Today, DBX is based out of Utah, and they're still designing professional recording equipment. A while after selling DBX, Blackmer founded Earthworks Audio, a New Hampshire-based company that is still designing and manufacturing microphones today. In 2002, David Blackmer passed away. The DBX Model 128 is a combination dynamic enhancer and noise reduction system. I could use it to record some tapes with DBX2 encoding if I wanted. I could also use it to play some of those rare DBX encoded records that apparently sound very special. On this side, we have the expander compressor. This dial controls what is considered quiet and what is considered loud. With this button, you determine whether the expansion compression is applied to the whole signal or just the loud part. This controls our expansion and compression. The compression would come in handy if I was recording some loud drums or if I wanted to make a cassette to play in my car. I don't see either of those things happening anytime soon. The expansion starts at 1 and goes all the way to 2. Now, for the moment of truth. Would I recommend a dynamic enhancer expander? I can definitively say, maybe? When I ordered this thing, I thought my old records would sound a lot livelier, and that it would really diminish the scratchiness. That didn't really turn out to be the case. Garbage in, garbage out continues to be true. This is definitely a device that calls for a little bit of finesse. You can set it in such a way so you hear no difference at all, and you can set it so that the difference is unbearable. But if you dial it in just right, something magical happens. The 128 adds depth to my soundstage. I really appreciate that because the Snells have never really had the depth that I previously loved in my ADS speakers. The elements all end up spread out just a little bit, and as a result, the imaging is improved. We're not talking about a huge difference here, but definitely noticeable on my system. So then why not a complete and total endorsement? Well, this isn't hi-fi alchemy. The 128 needs a pretty good signal to do its thing. If you have a lower end amplifier that you're using just to Bluetooth music off your phone, this isn't worth your time. To use the 128, you need an amplifier that has either a tape loop or an effects loop. And it better have some good tone controls because this thing can boost bass or treble right through your skull. And if you're considering upgrading your system with one of these, there are a lot more impactful ways that you can invest your money. But with my components, the 128 is very beneficial. When I first hooked it up, my wife Laura was out of town, so I was playing everything at maximum volume. When she came home, I turned things down to a more polite level, and that was when the 128 really blew me away. I can play this at a lower volume and get way more information than I did before. The same goes for when I'm listening way off axis, like in the kitchen. The extra depth is there, even though I'm nowhere near my sweet spot. I mean, it makes sense. The DBX 128 comes from a guy who improved recorded music for the whole world. A guy who also helped develop circuits that made signals that could be heard in outer space. David Blackmer wasn't going to make a product that made my music sound worse, or tried to trick my ears with some flashing lights just to get my money. Though I mean, how cool are those flashing lights? If it hadn't been for this YouTube series, there's no way I would have gotten a dynamic enhancer. I was always a little curious, but I'd read enough to think that it really wasn't worth my money. Then I learned about DBX's New England roots and I decided I had to give it a shot. I'm so happy I did.